Hello, welcome to the MMA Freak Fight of the Week. I'm Matt Salzer. So finally, I'm going to do a full review for the first time in, man, it feels like months, but I moved and a lot of stuff happened. So long story short, before I get to the full review, I'm going to announce the actual fight of the week. The actual fight of the week is Kelvin Lee for his knockout of Gregor Gillespie at UFC 244. And now finally, UFC 244 review. So, in the main event, we had the fight for the title of the baddest. Baddest. I'll just say mofo. That's the closest I could get to it. But the baddest mofo in the UFC belt, which was presented by Dwayne Johnson, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and so. The main event between Jorge Masvidal and Nate Diaz, to me, it was already going in Jorge Masvidal's favor. He was already controlling the fight up until, and because they were doing it, they were gimmicking it as a championship fight. They were going for 5 rounds, and that's how the UFC does main events, anyways. But between the 3rd and 4th rounds, the doctor was noting that Nate Diaz, who had developed a large cut right there, he basically told the ref that Nate should not be fighting, and you could even tell the ref was hesitant to even wave it off, but so yeah, it was and here's a problem with Nate Diaz and both the Diaz brothers in general, including Nick. They have these like very defined ridges right here where you just hit it and hard enough and it starts bleeding, not to mention the scar tissue they've gotten from those previous fights results in it going more easily, to the point where Nick, I don't think Nate's gotten this, but Nick actually had surgery to remove the scar tissue up there, as did Vanderlei Silva. Vanderlei Silva had another equal issue like that, but I think Nick also had a surgery to actually shave down the ridges of his skull so that, it wouldn't bleed as much. I don't think Nate's done that. He should probably consider doing that if he wants to continue fighting, which it looks like, with his recent strand of fights that he wants to continue fighting. And because he couldn't continue, Jorge was given the victory, and he told Nate, that he'd like to do a rematch. Nate was very gracious. Nate was very gracious, and he didn't say whether he'd want to do it again or not. But that's the thing with the Diaz brothers. It's like they are these thugs going up to the fight, and then once the fight's done, they're it's all sportsmanship. It would have been nice to have seen them gone at least another round. Like I said, I think Jorge was controlling the fight up to that point, so I think he would have ultimately come away with the victory. But, that was the main event for the BMF belt. And then the co-main event was Kelvin Gastelum welcoming Darren Till into the UFC middleweight division. Gastelum having formerly been a welterweight, Till moving up from welterweight. And there was a little bit of a controversy, a bit of a controversy going into Saturday because of the fact that there appeared to be some meddling in terms of helping Kelvin Gastelum make weight. So I haven't seen the official announcement yet. I'd assume that he's probably going to be fined and suspended, but ultimately because he lost the fight, I don't know if that's going to play a factor. But however, something I should note, the fact that Kelvin Gastelum is a fat welterweight fighting at middleweight, and he has to get help making it to middleweight when, again, he's a fat welterweight, and he's not particularly big. He's not like Anthony Johnson, who, towards the end of his career was a solid light heavyweight who had been cutting down to welterweight. How that man is alive now, I have no idea. I think one of his last fights at welterweight, he cut something like 70 pounds. It's like how that man is alive. I'm sure that he shortened his lifespan because of that, because that can't be healthy. But the fact that Kelvin Gastelum, who is a fat welterweight, there's no bones about it, he should be fighting at welterweight. He is not, because he doesn't know how to cut weight properly. So, which again is basically pathetic, because he's a wrestler. Wrestlers know how to cut weight. So the fact that he can't is more than a little embarrassing. But the fact that he needs help cheating to get on the scale in order to make middleweight, again, is embarrassing. Because, again, he's a fat welterweight. Going up to middleweight, he shouldn't need help. But Darren Till got the decision win. So, like I said, I could see Kelvin getting a suspension and a fine. But because the offending fighter did not win, I don't see it getting overturned. So it's just whatever. Then what was given the fight of the night bonus was Stephen Thompson winning a decision against Vicente Luque, and Thompson, who had been going on a little bit of a fight skid, and so it's nice to see him rebound in such a manner that he was able to not just win but get a fight of the night victory. So it's nice to see that. Then before the Thompson Luque fight, I was thinking about giving a fight of the night was Derek Lewis going against Blagoy Ivanov. And that fight went pretty how I thought it would. I mean, Lewis wanted to keep it standing. Ivanov, being a Sambo guy, wanted to take it to the ground and work submissions. And there were multiple times where he almost got a key lock on, was it Kimura? Kimura key lock. They're so similar. But I have to do with the wrist. But either way, Lewis was able to power out of it, and he ultimately came away. That was a close fight, but he was able to come away with the victory. Then, to open up the pay-per-view, you had Kevin Lee fighting Gregor Gillespie and knocking him out. And I think this is the first fight, Kevin Lee's first fight back to lightweight. It's nice to see him back in lightweight. He's more of a natural lightweight. I wish the UFC would start, implementing these new bridge weight classes, because there's a lot of fighters who kind of would fit into those new categories. Kevin Lee would be one of them at super lightweight. But it's nice to see him getting back. It's nice to see him get his weight under control and, returning in very fine fashion. Then you had Corey Anderson, who is a Ultimate Fighter. I think he was a winner. I'd like to say he was a winner. I can't remember offhand. But going against Johnny Walker, who's a rising star in the UFC. Unfortunately, he's gonna need to take some more time to take off, because he. Anderson TKO'd him, but it was still a good fight, and this is on the prelims, because I also watched the prelims. Then you had Shane Burgos, and let's see. Yeah, none of the preliminary fights went the distance. You had a bunch of, you had 3 of the 4 main card fights go the distance, and then none of the preliminary fights went the distance. Shane Burgos TKO'd Amir Khani Brad. It's a mouthful. Edmus Shabazian? Knocked out Brad Tavares. And then Jazir Rosenstrick. He's African. knocked out former UFC heavyweight champion Andrei Arlovsky. So yeah, that was UFC 244. It was pretty good, considering that there was no title fight, and it had some good names on it. And for those who were fighting who were not big names, they certainly put a certainly put some asterisks on, or not some asterisks. They certainly put themselves on the map. So we'll have some more UFC, some more Bellator to close out the rest of the year. UFC 245 is the 3 title fight. It's been a while since we have a 3 title fight fight card, and the UFC typically likes to group those together for like very special events, and this is pretty much the New Year's show for the UFC to close out 2019. So yeah, we've got some stuff to look forward to. Now, of note, the Fight the Podcast, which I had been doing with Edson Valenzuela, he's got some stuff going on, so that is on hold for the time being. If he starts it back up again, I will certainly try to join back on. Either way, please support him and all that he does. UFC, MMA Freak will continue doing the stuff that it does. I will try to continue doing these more extended fight reviews. It's very dependent on my schedule and stuff like that, even though this doesn't take that long to shoot. But either way, thank you very much. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. If you like this video, comment down below what you thought about UFC 244. At MMA Freakout is our Twitter. At Matthew Salzer, both my personal Twitter and my personal Instagram. Be sure to like us on Facebook. Go to MMA-freak.com for exclusive content. I'm Matt Salzer. See you next time.